Hi, I'm Bill from CJ Pony Parts. Everybody knows that a turbocharger is a great way to add horsepower, but because it runs off your exhaust system, it's also going to create a lot of heat, so any good turbo system is going to include an intercooler to keep your inlet air temperatures down. The factory intercooler on the EcoBoost Mustang does an okay job at stock boost levels, but as soon as you turn the boost up, it becomes very inefficient, creates a lot of heat, so it's going to cost you horsepower. The best way to fix that is with a good aftermarket intercooler, so today we're going to install Mishimoto's intercooler on our 2015 EcoBoost Mustang. The Mishimoto Intercooler is going to be a direct replacement for the factory intercooler on your 2015 EcoBoost Mustang. Requires no cutting and will work with the factory shutter system. It's available in the black shown here as well as a silver finish if you want it to be more visible. This intercooler is made of 100% TIG welded aluminum with cast ends. It's going to have 58% larger core size, 25% larger core volume, and 165% more fin surface area than the factory intercooler. This is going to result in air intake temperature drops of up to 35 degrees over the stock intercooler. Mishimoto rates his intercooler up to 550 rear-wheel horsepower, which is more than any EcoBoost is currently making, so this is an excellent choice for any 2015 EcoBoost Mustang. For this installation, they need a lift or a jack and jack stands, small flat blade screwdriver, 1/4-inch ratchet, 7/32 socket, 7mm socket, 8mm socket, 10mm socket, 7mm wrench, 10mm wrench, T25 Torx bit, and a 2.5mm Allen key. You can have two options for installing the Mishimoto intercooler on your EcoBoost Mustang. You can install it with the front bumper on, or you can remove it. We're going to remove it because honestly it's not that hard to remove and it gives you a lot more space. If you choose to leave the bumper cover on, you're going to have to remove your cold air intake, overflow bottle, radiator, and several other components to give yourself enough space to get down to it. Like I said, taking the bumper cover off isn't that hard, so we're going to go that route and show you how to install it. We'll start the installation underneath the car by removing the splash pan. The splash pan is held in place by a bunch of screws and then a few plastic clips as well. Now we're going to move on to the 3 clips in the wheel well area. Now you want to pull the splash shield back so you can access there's a 7mm screw right here, holds the fender to the bumper cover. You want to make sure you remove this. If you try to pull the bumper cover off without it, you're going to rip it. Okay, then repeat the process on the other side and move up to the radiator support. Up top of the engine bay, we're going to start with the 8 clips that hold the radiator support cover to the radiator itself. Same style push pins as down below. With the cover out of the way, now we can remove the 6 screws here that hold the cover to the edge of the support. There's 2 little screws on each side underneath the weather strip. Simply push it back and remove those next. Now we're going to pop the front of the cover here off the little plastic alignment tabs. Okay, now we'll start in the corners and remove it. The sides are held on by clips. Just get your hand underneath there, give it a little tug, it'll pop right off. Now you want to make sure you unplug all the lights. And put the bumper cover aside. Here you can see the factory front intercooler right below the factory radiator. It's nice thing with the Mishimoto, it's going to fit right this factory location, require no modification. To get this out though, we'll start by removing the brackets, then disconnect the piping and the map sensor, and then remove it. Now we'll move on to the mounting hardware for the radiator itself. It's actually one bolt that holds it in beyond the tubing. It's going to be this one over here on the passenger side. We'll move that first. While we're here, we're going to loosen up the clamp for the intercooler piping. Now move over to the driver's side. Disconnect the plug on top of the intercooler for the factory map sensor. Push that aside. Now we can start removing the intercooler itself. You get a grip, move this other way so you can see. This right here, you pull down on that, it'll actually pop the intercooler free. Once this clip is off down here, basically what you're gonna do is push the intercooler up and out. It's gotta clear this little edge here to get it out. If you're pushing up against the radiator and you don't have enough room, simply go to the top, unbolt the radiator brackets, and that'll have to go up just enough to get it out. Sometimes then you get lucky and there is enough space down here, you can push this up and get it out of the way. Once they're both off, then start removing the charge pipes. And this stuff is actually can be sort of moved out of the way. Sort of just walk it out. Here you can see the massive size difference between the factory Ford intercooler and our Mishimoto intercooler. While we have these on the table, we're going to pull off the map sensor and transfer it over. Put a little lubricant on the O-ring to make the installation easier. We'll put it in place on our Mishimoto intercooler. Now we're going to tighten it down with the supplied hardware. And it's ready to install back on our car. Since it is a direct fit, the Mishimoto intercooler is going to fit on the stock brackets with the addition of one small piece of hardware. It's a little larger, it's a little more cumbersome to get up into place, but if you take your time, it will fit in. Make sure your charge pipes are lining up as well. Get them both started before we put it on the brackets. And now we're going to snug up the clamps. And to bring this over so it's lined up, push it onto the factory brackets. With it seated in place, we'll reinstall the factory hardware over on the passenger side. And move on to the driver's side. Driver's side is going to install by putting this small set screw in the bottom here. Next what you can do is just thread that up back behind the plastic. Now we're going to plug the map sensor back in. Definitely don't want to forget that step there. And reinstall the lower bracket. Now we're going to reinstall the lower support. There's a specific way it goes. It is labeled, so make sure it goes the right way. We're going to start all the bolts. Just get them hand tight. Make sure all the clips are lined up before we tighten anything down. And once we're all started, we can tighten them all down. With the intercooler mounted, now we can reverse the steps by installing the bumper cover, the upper radiator cover, and then the lower splash shield. Make sure you don't forget to plug everything back in. and your installation is finished. Our Mishimoto Intercooler kit fit great, required no permanent modifications. We know it's going to do a great job of keeping our inlet temperatures down and our horsepower numbers up. The installation is pretty straightforward. Will take you around 2 hours start to finish. Be back on the road in no time. For more installation videos for your 2015 Mustang, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out cjponyparts.com for a great selection of 2015 Mustang parts.